Welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we'd do something different, yeah? So we've already touched upon a couple of recipes, but if you know me, you know that I'm a licensed holistic lifestyle coach with the Czech Institute, as well as a yoga teacher. And as a holistic lifestyle coach, I look at the entire picture. So nutrition is, of course, a critical part in restoring our well-being and our health, but it is not the entire story. There are 6 foundational principles as they are taught to us at the Czech Institute, and they include nutrition, hydration, sleep, movement, breath, and your thoughts. So today I thought we would bring a little bit of movement. So in moving together, the beauty of practicing yin yoga is that we get to move slowly. So we're not just targeting the superficial muscles like we do oftentimes in yang type style movements. This allows us to get into the connective tissues, into the fascia, really get into the joints, into helping lubricate the joints so that we stay not only supple, but also free from injury as we get older. Not that we're aging. So what I've done today is I've curated for us not 1, not 2, but 3 yin sequences, and I'm so excited to guide you. We're going to start off with a little yin for anxiety because I figured we could all use it. You may not even know that you're carrying tension. You may not even know that you're slightly anxious. So this particular sequence is designed to help you release and relax a little bit more. So you don't need a lot for today's class, yeah? I'll just get you to grab a mat if you have one. If you don't, not a big deal. Perhaps you're on a soft surface like a grass or even carpet. But practicing in grass is a great idea, FYI. And if you have some blocks, great. I have at least 2 here. If not, go ahead and grab a cushion or even a book. Whatever can give you some support during our practice and our shapes today is a great idea. We're going to be holding the shapes for an extended period of time because that's what yin is designed to do. It gets into those connective tissues and the fascia and the joints, as I was mentioning earlier, by way of holding the shapes for longer than we would with other modalities. So you have to be patient and you have to be kind and gentle with yourself so that the body can open up as and when it feels like it wants to. So we're not pushing it. We're never ever chasing pain in these shapes. We're only chasing enough discomfort to keep us engaged and aware and to allow the body to do what it's supposed to do, which is release and let go on its own time. Remember, we're on her clock. She's not on ours. So having said that, we're going to start with some breath work today. If you would prefer to come into a corpse pose, a traditional shavasana, please do so now with the crown of your head at the top of your mat and your toes pointed towards the back. I'm going to stay upright. Either or is fine. The only thing that I ask is that your spine stay long, that your rib tips move away from your hip tips, so create as much space here as you can, whether you're lying down or sitting upright. You want to keep your shoulders in line with your ears, but draw them away from your ears, so keeping the throat equally long and soft. We're going to start with some square breath to help us really come into our bodies and out of our minds. Square breath, as it sounds, it looks and feels like a square because it has 4 equal sides. So we're going to breathe in for a certain amount of counts. We're going to hold at a full breath for those counts. Then we're going to empty out, same number of counts, and then we're going to hold on empty for those counts. I'm going to go with the number 4. I'm choosing the number 4 because it's fairly accessible and also because 4 is the number of completion. And we're going to do 4 rounds of square breath. So that should help us let go of the day that we've had prior to coming to our mats, and hopefully will keep us from thinking about our day after we leave our mats and keep us right here where we are, which is together and present, which is the best present you can give to anyone. So go ahead and get comfy. I invite you to close your eyes if it feels good to you. You can maybe bring your awareness to the 3rd eye, which is the space between your brows. And seal your lips. And start to become the observer of your breath with No need to pass any kind of judgment or to objectify it or label it in any way. Just notice the breath as it is coming in. Follow it in through the nose. Follow it as it goes all the way into the pit of your belly. Feeling your belly button rise and your rib cage expand. Noticing even that lift that happens in your chest. And then following the chest as it lowers and your rib basket as it knits closer towards each other again. And your belly as it falls and draws in closer towards your spine. That is a 3-part breath, and that is the breath that we are seeking, not only on our mats, but also off our mats. Maybe you need to give yourself a little gentle shoulder roll, just to remind your shoulders to keep away from your ears and allowing for the cervical spine to lengthen as well as the thoracic spine. And the lumbar spine is arched, so it's lifted from the mat. There's a gap there that you would be able to fill if you slid your hand underneath there. And your sacrum and your hips are firmly supported and rooted into your mat or into Mother Earth. And so wherever you are with your breath, I'm going to ask you to empty out so that we may begin to breathe in together. So on the breath in, I'll get you to fill in over 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold here on full for 4, 3, 2, 1. Empty out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on empty for 4, 3, 2, 1. Fill up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on empty for 4, 3, 2, 1. Fill up again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you take another sip and then hold here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Empty out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take one more sip. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Push out all the air, then hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now just release and notice how you're feeling. Return to becoming the observer, not the judge, just the observer of your breath. So from here, if you are seated like me, you can lower onto your belly. If you are on your backs, roll over onto your right side body. Take a fetal shape. And stop there for a moment. You can use your right bicep as a pillow, and you can draw your knees in towards your chest. Stay here for one round of breath, filling in through the back body and the front body. Once you've completed that cycle, you can place your left palm onto your mat to help you to flip over onto your belly, so you can join us where I am. So you'll want to bring your elbows slightly in front of your shoulders, right? So we don't want our elbows here. We deliberately want our elbows in front of us. And then you have the option to keep your inner knees and your inner ankles together if you're looking for a more acute sensation in the lower back. That's the area that we're targeting. Or if you're wanting a more uniform sensation, you could always take your feet out so that they're mat distance apart. Yogi's choice. We always are a democracy. So we like to offer a lot of options. So you choose what's right for you. And we're going to start off in Sphinx. So our belly button and our hips are on the mat. Our heart and our throat and our collarbone areas all lifted. We're pressing down through our forearms as well as our palms, but hands are relaxed. Shoulders are relaxed. The throat stays long. Notice also if your ears are in line with your shoulders, if your head is projected forward, because we're always running and chasing after things as well as looking at our devices. Take your finger, bring it to your chin, your pointer finger, and draw your ears back in line. Keep that alignment. It's safer for your spine and it's more containment. And start to, again, follow the breath the same way that we did at the top. Option to invite even a ujjayi breath, for those of you that are familiar, where your breath comes in through the nose. And the exhale is also through the nose, but with a slight constriction at the back of the throat that makes for an almost oceanic sound. Perhaps you can hear it. Using whatever style of breath will help you to stay connected to your breath as well as aware of your breath, keeping your mind off of things that are not of importance to you, that are not directly in front of you. If you feel like you would like to bring a block underneath your third eye, this is also an option. So long as you maintain an openness through the chest. I'm going to personally progress on to seal. So that looks like so. I'm lengthening through the elbows. Palms are firmly rooted. Fingertips are pointed towards the corners of my mat. Thumbs are pointed forward to bring just a little bit more sensation. We're coming to the end of this shape, and I'm inviting just a little bit more tension and a little bit more stress to the lower back before we release and neutralize the spine. And so when we're anxious, oftentimes we want to retreat. And so we're actively projecting our heart out into the world and choosing to lead with love, not with fear. And wherever you were, whatever variation you took, until lower your third eye, across the backs of your hands to just neutralize the spine. Notice if you feel anything, if you notice anything here. Maybe you're noticing vibration or movement. Follow it. Engage with it. Become intimate with it. And then we're going to move into a bit of a shoulder opener. So I'd like you to take your right arm out and bend your left elbow so your left elbow is pointed upwards, tenting your left fingertips. We're going to come onto our right shoulder, so roll your left hip and your left ankle onto your right. Option to grab a block here for your right ear, your right cheek. And you can keep your ankle and your hip stacked. You could also bend the left leg and bring your left foot either in front of your right knee or behind it. And the target area here is the front of the right shoulder. If this is a little bit too much sensation, or if it's too much pain, if it's ever any needle-like sensation or sharp cutting-like pain, please step back from your edge. One thing that you could do is lower your right hand so it comes in closer towards your right hip. Changing the angle could help. Or you could just come onto your belly again and keep your right arm extended. Just breathing into the right shoulder socket. Another variation is you could take your left arm and tuck it underneath your right hip. That helps you to open up a little bit more through the breastbone. Again, we're wanting to keep ourselves open and vulnerable and not shrink up and close ourselves off. We're reminded that vulnerability is not weakness, it's actually strength. So by staying open and vulnerable with the body, we remind the spirit and the mind that we've got this. We've got this. And whatever variation you took, we're going to come out of this slowly, the same way that we came in, lowering our left hand and stacking our left leg over our right. We're going to come onto our belly, and rather than staying here for the rebound, we're going to keep it moving. We're going to take our left hand, press down so that our chest lifts up, and we're going to thread our right arm right underneath, right through rather, your left arm. Again, you have the option here to lower your head, your cheek, or your ear onto your block. And this time we're closing the right shoulder or the front of the right shoulder, but we're opening up the back of the right shoulder. Remember to follow your breath. Send it to anywhere that you need to send it to, anywhere that you're feeling a lot of stress, even if that means your mind. You could always invite the breath in through the crown as well as through the nostrils. Remember, the skin is the largest organ. It's all bringing in information as well as oxygen from the environment. So we're going to come out of this again the same way. Press down through our left hand, lift ourselves up. We're going to move into the second side. Extend the left arm out. Tense your right fingertips. That means your right elbow is pointed up. Push down onto your right hand to bring you onto your left side body. Notice if having the left arm directly out is too much for you. If it is, walk it down towards your left hip. Find whatever feels good to you, or lower back onto your belly. I'm going to bend my right leg, take my right foot right behind my left knee. I'm also going to take a bind with my right arm. And tuck it under my left hip, but choose whatever feels good to you. For me, when I think about tightness in the shoulders, I think about how we use the term or the phrase, I feel like I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. And so when we feel that way, we can create a lot of tension and discomfort in the body. So as important as it is to stay open and vulnerable through the heart, so that we not only are open to giving love, but open to receiving love, we also want to let the shoulders know that the burden is not ours alone. We have support. Mother Earth is holding us up as we speak. She's right underneath us. If you allow your body to soften, you can feel her coming up underneath you and holding you up. Don't forget to breathe. Practice the full spherical breaths that we practiced with our square breath. Although you're not holding on empty or on full, making your breath intentionally spherical, intentionally full, and then intentionally emptying out. We're going to come out of this shape. I'm going to release the bind, extend my right leg long, remove any props that you may have had on your left side, and lower myself back onto my belly. I'll find actually we're going to keep it moving like we did on the other side. Press down through your right arm, weave your left arm through your right, and again invite that support if you need it. So you can relax your head. No need to bring any strain anywhere to the body that's outside of the target area. We know that the target area is our left shoulder, the exterior side. And so everywhere else should be soft. Flood the other parts of your body with compassion. lift your left side of your face off whatever support, if you were using any. Press down onto your right hand. We're going to push ourselves into a child's pose. So push yourself back with your knees mat distance apart and your big toes touching. With a long torso, you can bring your forehead onto your block. You could also bring it onto your mat, or you could bring it onto stacked fists, whatever feels good. We're not here for long. So spine will stay long. You're still adding space in between the vertebra. Your arms are relaxed. Shoulders are soft. And your arms could be pointed towards the back of the mat like mine are, or they could also be pointed towards the front. Your tailbone is pointed back, but your crown is looking forward. Take 3 more full breaths here. Really fill up your tank and then empty out. Wherever your hands are, start to walk them towards the top of your mat, pressing down through your knuckles or the inner lining of your fingers. Activate your arms, hover the elbows off of your mat. Push yourself up into a tabletop. And remove the block. We're going to come into a downward facing dog, but we're not here long. Heels may land or they may not. Knees stay supple. Lower belly is resting on the tops of your thighs. Your ears come to find alignment with your forearms or your biceps. Take whatever movement feels good to you here. And then lift the heels up high. Bend your knees. Start to walk your hands towards your feet and your feet towards your hands. We're going to come into a dangle. So again, keep some liquidity in the backs of the knees. Allow for your torso to fold forward. Your feet can be hip distance apart or more if you need the space. We're just going to dangle out here. Hang out. You can grab for opposite elbows. You could also place blocks here if you wish and rest your forehead there if that feels good to you. You're not pushing yourself down, so don't grab onto your ankles or anything and push yourself down. Just allow for gravity to do the work. And by the way, this is an excellent shape for nights when you're struggling to sleep. Finding that rotation on the pelvic axis where your tailbone points up so that your crown can point down, and you can even shake your head out. Yes is a nose, whatever feels good. To remind your body that you're not having to work here. Gravity is doing the work for you. And the goal is never to get the knees straight. And we're going to plant our palms onto our mat and come onto our knees. I'm just going to neutralize that shape by bringing the head and the heart over the hips once more. And you can sit cross-legged if that feels good to you. I'm choosing to sit my bum on my heels. The spine is long and the torso is buoyant. The knees and the shins are firmly rooted into the earth, digging softly into her. But the crown of your head, she's pulling you up and away from your waist. Notice if you're feeling any sensation or any movement of liquids or energy up and down your spine. Perhaps you'll close your eyes here so that you can become witness to that miracle, that flow that is life, the electricity that's running up and down your spine. Enough power to light whatever city you're in or town. And then we're going to come onto our backs. So I'm going to come onto my left hip. You can come onto your left or right. We're going to come into a supported bridge to kind of help neutralize the sacrum. So lower yourself onto your back and grab for whatever prop you have available to you. I'm going to use a block. Oftentimes you'll hear that it's better to go on the flat on the lowest setting. And that can prove true for a lot of people. I actually do like more sensation, so I'm going to take mine to the medium setting, not the highest, but the medium. I'm going to press down through the balls of my feet. I'm going to lift my hips up high. I'm going to slide this block right underneath my sacrum. I'm going to tee my arms out. And the option is just stay here. Or if you'd like a little bit more feeling, you can extend your legs out one at a time. Stay long and soft through the throat and the cervical spine. The backs of your hands or your palms are right above Mother Earth, but are supported. They're not straining because they're soft into her, digging into her. And so are the soles of your feet or your heels if your legs are extended. And so everything is surrendering to Mother Earth and feeling her coming up beneath you to support you, with the exception of your sacrum, which is being supported and lifted by your block or whatever support system you have. Whereas with our dangle, we had flicked our tailbone up. This time we're flicking our tailbone in. And so this is our counter. Again, it's offering us the opportunity to be open in the heart and in the throat so that we can be forgiving and loving to ourselves and to others, but we could also be honest in our communications by staying compassionate in the throat chakra to others, and perhaps more importantly, being honest to ourselves. We'll stay here for just a few more seconds to really savor this shape, get the most out of it, all the while still being connected and very aware and intimate with our breath, staying close to her, following her in as she enters the body, and then following her out as she exits the body. Take 3 more breaths here. If your legs are long, go ahead and bend the knees and point them up towards the ceiling and press down through the toe mounds and the heels as you lift your hips up just enough to remove the block. And then lower your back onto your mat, knocking your knees together, taking your feet out, maybe mat distance apart, and just allowing for the spine to release, the sacrum to land. With your attention inward, what can you become witness to right now? What are you noticing? What changes are you witnessing? And then from here, we're going to move into, I'll give you 2 options. You can either do a legs up the wall, which is what I'm going to take because I'm near a wall. If you're near one too, I highly recommend it. If you're not, though, when you have some good support, you can draw your knees in towards your chest, rock yourself up a little bit. Eventually you can place a block right underneath your sacrum, but this time leave it at an angle so you're on the edge of the block with your sacrum flat onto the block, but the block actually being at an angle on your mat. You can take your feet up. There's your waterfall. This is a great position to stay in. I'm going to come out of this because I'm going to do the wall version. So I'm going to draw my knees in towards my chest and press down through my feet, lifting my hips up and removing the block. If you're taking this variation with me, you're going to bring either your left or your right hip right against the wall. Make sure that you're flush, and then you're going to swing your legs upwards. So your booty, the backs of your legs and your heels are flush against the wall, and your feet are pointed towards your face, whether you're in waterfall or wall up or feet up the wall. And you can take your arms out perhaps over your head. You can cactus them. You can take a T variation. Whatever feels good. Invitation to draw your chin in closer towards your chest to open up the back of the throat, the back of the neck. going to stay here for some time. This leg dangle is a phenomenal tool to be aware of and to keep in your toolbox with you whenever you or anyone that you know is feeling overly anxious or perhaps is unable to sleep, whether a child or a teenager or an adult. Invite them to take this shape and hold it for, anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes at least. Notice how that will help you calm the mind down. Slow the heart rate down. Calm the breath. I'm going to invite you to stay here longer. We're not quite finished, but I'm going to take myself out so that I can read something to you. So please stay in your waterfall or your legs on wall and enjoy the relief and the calmness that is washing over you, so that I may read this short passage to you and so that you may receive it. This is an excerpt I'm taking from one of my favorite books of all time. It's called A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. This is on page 102 for anyone that's interested. Humanity is destined to go beyond suffering, but not in the way the ego thinks. One of the ego's many erroneous assumptions is that, one of the ego's many erroneous assumptions, one of its many deluded thoughts is, I should not have to suffer. Sometimes the thought gets transferred to someone else close to you. My child should not have to suffer. That thought itself lies at the root of suffering. Suffering has a noble purpose. The evolution of consciousness and the burning up of the ego. The man on the cross is an archetypal image. He is every man and every woman. As long as you resist suffering, it is a slow process because the resistance creates more ego to burn up. When you accept suffering, however, there is an acceleration of that process, which is brought about by the fact that you suffer consciously. You can accept suffering for yourself, or you can accept it for someone else, such as your child or a parent. In the midst of conscious suffering, there is already the transmutation. The fire of suffering becomes the light of consciousness. The ego says, I shouldn't have to suffer, and that thought makes you suffer so much more. It is a distortion of the truth, which is always paradoxical. The truth is that you need to say yes to suffering before you can transcend it. I felt very much that someone needed to hear that, and as per usual, I also needed to hear that. Oftentimes that is what brings me to my mat, is this need to confront my ego so that I can burn it up. Help to shrink it down to size, if you will. I hope that that resonated with someone else as well, and that it carries you for some time. And so to come out of your waterfall, if you are on a block, please again draw the knees in towards your chest. Place the soles of your feet onto your mat and press down through the feet. Lift the hips and remove any support, and then lower yourself, lower the sacrum back onto your mat. For those of you that have your feet up the wall, go ahead and bend the knees and swing your feet over to the left or to the right, and then come onto your backs. We'll all meet in a corpse pose in a traditional Shavasana. And since we're all at home, there's no reason for you not to take up space. So take your ankles mat distance apart even further. Tee your hands out, cactus them out. Maybe you take your hands over your head today. I find that that variation helps me to really stay open through the chest cavity, allowing for me to have a fuller, more abundant breath, if you will, come into the body. It also opens me up through the rib cage and the diaphragm. So but take whatever variation feels good for you today. And I'd like to do a little bit of a body scan as a final meditation before we part ways. Again, I invite you to lower your eyelids and seal your lips and find that journey back to your breath. And I'd like you to use your inside voice to repeat the following. Repeat after me. The crown of my head is relaxed. The crown of my head is relaxed. My crown is relaxed. And then moving down towards the backs of the ears. And then onto the jaw. My jaw is relaxed. My jaw is relaxed. My jaw is relaxed. And then we move into the throat, a very important chakra here. The throat is relaxed. The throat is relaxed. My throat is relaxed. And then making our way to our shoulders. The shoulders are relaxed. The shoulders are relaxed. My shoulders, they are relaxed. And then moving on to the fingers. The fingers are relaxed. The fingers, they are relaxed. My fingers are relaxed. And then on to your hips. My hips are relaxed. The hips, they are relaxed. My hips are relaxed. And then moving on towards the knees. The knees are relaxed. The knees, they are relaxed. My knees are relaxed. And then on to the toes. The toes are relaxed. The toes, they are relaxed. My toes are relaxed. That was a very casual but yet effective body scan. I hope that you're feeling loose and calm and more grounded and more supported by her grace, by the one who is cradling you right now. She's right underneath you, supporting you, holding you upright. else, that's the end of our body scan and meditation. Your Shavasana is only beginning. I invite you to stay here as long as you can, to rebound in the grace and the glory of the shapes that we have taken and explored together, so that you may get the benefit, the reward of those shapes. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through your practice. Thank you for your breath. And thank you for your commitment to evolving into a more loving, less fearful, more kind person to yourself and to others. So from my heart to yours, thank you. Please go in peace.